You ready?
Yeah.
Step into the realm of origin where the heartbeats of creativity syncs with the rhythm of innovation, and the soul of artistry intertwines with the spirits of inspiration. Here in the sanctuary of our podcast, we honor the kaleidoscope of talent, the symphony of passion, and the mosaic of dreams. Today, we invite our esteemed guests to take center stage, a beacon of light, a force of nature, and a trailblazer in their own right. As we embark on this voyage of self-expression, let the aura of your talent mesmerize the essence of your being electrify. And the power of your artistry transcend origin calls upon you to unveil your magic, unleash your art, and let your creativity paint the world in hues of wonder. This is your time to shine, your platform to inspire, and your legacy to act in the hearts of many. Embrace the journey, seize the moment, and let the universe bear witness to the magnificence that is you. Go ahead. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Baphomett Jones. I'm a singer from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in a little band called Lesser Magic, along with my good buddy Johnny Topaz, who unfortunately can't join us today because he has some prior things going on. But essentially, we're
No problem.
a hard rock heavy metal act, and we like to write songs that have big catchy choruses. We're all about the good vibes and the good times. Like to keep things kind of heavy, but at the same time upbeat. And uplifting, and not so much into like the dark and crazy side, but a little bit more just in your face and fun. You know what I mean?
Okay. Shout out to you. And you're a two-man band?
Yeah, it's just the two of us. I sing and play
Okay.
bass. I play keyboards. He does lead guitar. I jump in on a little bit of guitar stuff too, and we've been using session drummers, when we're releasing
Okay.
stuff. So
Shout out to y'all. And how y'all, came to be the form of this group?
okay, so essentially, we've known each other for a long time. I first met him when I was like 16, and we were both at a little get together, and I brought my guitar because that was just kind of like the way I roll. I'm always bringing my guitar everywhere, especially back in those days. Young and free and everything. And yeah, so we struck up conversation. We started jamming, and basically we were just like hanging out and jamming all the time for years. Writing stuff on our own mostly, not so much collaborating together, but just kind of like coming up with different ideas, and playing a lot of cover songs. And then time kind of goes on, and we're doing our own thing. We're working and all that stuff, and Uh, he moves up
Mm-hmm.
here to Charlotte, North Carolina, because we were originally from Georgia, and
Mm-hmm.
I came up there. I started visiting him up here. We were jamming. We were playing some covers. We're playing Metallica songs, Kiss songs, and stuff like that. And we're just like, man, this is really vibing. Like we should, take it a little more seriously, kind of like start doing our own stuff. And we both had ideas that have been just floating around in our heads. We had all these riffs and stuff and different songs that we'd just written on our own over the years. We started just throwing stuff out there, and he got Pro Tools on his computer, so we started experimenting with recording different things. We're like, man, I kind of feel like we're on to something. Like I think we should start actually like putting a name to this, kind of figuring out what we want our vibe to be, and actually like make it a thing, instead of it just being us just doing whatever. So yeah, finally, in it was like late 2021, we just went ahead and decided, hey, we need to come up with a name. We basically just kind of meditated on that for several months, and we both just came up with ideas, just taking cool words and just like putting them together in different orders, talking about it on the phone, texting each other back and forth about ideas, making notes like in books we were reading and stuff, just kind of brainstorming to the max. And finally it all just ended up coming together. Started a TikTok channel, mostly just started putting covers on there at first, just to kind of get the ball rolling, get a little bit of attention and all that. And then, once we kind of figured out our vibe, that's when we really started, putting down the ink to paper, writing stuff together as a team, and then putting out these little snippets of things, on TikTok, kind of seeing how people are reacting. So far everybody's reacted pretty good. So then, we ended up releasing our first single in May 1st, which was called King's Sorrow. Uh,
Of this year?
yeah, it was this year, and
No.
pretty good feedback, from everybody. So we're really excited about what's to come.
I listened to y'all have two songs out at the moment, correct?
Yeah, it's the King's Sorrow and Going Crazy, which is the most recent
I
one.
listened I listened to both and I enjoy it. King Sorrow kind of remind me of Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, okay.
Uh, it was just some of the feel, especially like the beginning of it. Uh, I don't know. It's just somebody that played like Guitar Hero. It kind of remind me of
Yeah,
some
yeah, I
things.
definitely feel you. Guns N' Roses is a big influence for both of us, but especially for Johnny Topaz. That's Slash is one of the people that kind of inspired him to, pick up a Les Paul guitar. Obviously there's a lot of people who have, you know, played those iconic guitars. Jimmy Page and all kinds of other people. But yeah, definitely Guns N' Roses is a big influence. Like I said earlier, Metallica, uh, Ozzy Osbourne, Judas Priest, stuff like that. But then, a lot of the other stuff too that was more like a little bit more like poppy rock from the 80s too. Like stuff like Poison and Motley Crue and stuff like that. Stuff that's a little bit more fun, you know.
Hmm. I could definitely see that, and I'm curious. Did y'all have experience in other, or this is your first band?
I got a little bit of experience playing with other people, but it's nothing like really crazy. Like, I was in a country band for a little bit. Uh, it was okay. It wasn't really my thing. I was approached about it. I just played rhythm guitar, and it was all right, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. But it was fun. Gave me a chance to collaborate with people a little bit. Ended up playing at somebody's wedding. All the beer I could drink, so that was all right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then how about your other bandmate?
Nah, he pretty much has just jammed with people here and there. He hasn't actually been in like any other like actual bands necessarily. Just a few things that he had done with me over the years because um, we'd had some other people that we jammed with here and there way back in the day, and we kind of were trying to get something going, but it never really went anywhere. It's hard, especially when you're super young like that, 'cause nobody wants to get
Mm-hmm.
serious and actually sit down and practice with you. We had a couple people
Mm-hmm.
that we played with that they were cool and everything was fine, but it just wasn't really. We weren't getting results.
Mm-hmm. And what exactly results were you looking for? Just like improvement, or
I mean, obviously, like when you first hook up with some people, everything's vibing, everything's going cool, and you're talking about the bands you like and stuff, and usually, everybody kind of brings forth one or two songs that are, from another band that you want to cover, just to kind of see what kind of chemistry there is, and
mm-hmm.
you're trying to learn all these songs that these other people are bringing forth, saying they want you to learn, but then they don't learn the ones that you ask them to learn, and people show up and they don't know any of the stuff they're supposed to know, and instead of it being an hour long jam session, it ends up being 15 minutes, and people would rather go do other things beside actually sit down and get the song down. They want to go party, do whatever, and I'm looking for something a little more serious. Let's actually get some stuff recorded, put some stuff out there,
Mm-hmm.
actually like do the things that count. make some music, make something that people actually like, they want to listen to while they're driving, while they're partying, while they're at work, stuff that gets in people's head,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of lives there rent free, we're not just doing this
Mm-hmm.
for the hell of it anymore. We're actually trying to do something that's kind of meaningful. And that's
No.
really the result that I want, is that I just want it to be something that resonates with some people. It doesn't even have to be millions and millions of people. Just as long as somebody out there is getting something out of it, that's cool to me, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I just want it to be a good experience for some people. I want other people to feel what I feel when I'm playing. I want there to be like some communication where it's like, hey, I'm taking you for a ride. Here's what's going on this ride. Put your butt in the seat and let's find out.
No. And I'm curious as well. Have y'all gotten the chance to perform live?
Now, we've been looking around a little bit, and the biggest hurdle really is just finding a drummer. And it's
No.
crazy because, like, really the main reason that I'm playing the bass is because it's hard to find a bass player too. And I've been playing the guitar since I was like 11 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
about 5 or 6 years ago, I decided to start picking up the bass, just out of curiosity, and I got a lot out of it. Um, Obviously, it's kind of an easy transition from the guitar to the bass because I feel like it's a similar instrument, and the fundamentals are essentially the same. It's just kind of a difference in how you go about treating your part in the song. It's the difference. So
Mm-hmm.
I started just kind of picking it up full time a couple years ago because I was like, yeah, I might as well just play the bass so we don't have to find somebody else. And it's been
Mm-hmm.
kind of a similar experience with the drums. Just like, doesn't seem like that many people play the drums that well. We
Mm-hmm.
talked to a bunch of different people over the years, and usually it's like, oh, this guy's a pretty good drummer, but he doesn't even have his own drum set. He has to borrow somebody else's, and or he's okay, but he's just fucking annoying as hell and can't deal with him. And we've tried
Mm-hmm.
talking to a few people up here, and it's usually like, oh, it turns out that they're 17 years old, and they're pretty good, but like they can't even get into any of the places that we could play. They're not old enough. Or, oh, hey, this guy's pretty legit. Oh, well, he lives an hour and 20 minutes away, and like, who's going to be doing that driving? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like, is he going to be wanting us to come over there all the time? Is he going to be coming to us? Like, how's that going to work long term? Like, if it's a
Mm-hmm.
couple times, it's not a big deal, but like, somebody's going to get tired of making that drive, especially if we're trying to practice 2 or 3 times a week. So,
So when it comes into looking for recruits, are you still looking for recruits?
yeah, yeah, definitely.
No.
We would love to find somebody to play drums with us because I feel like that would be, kind of like our minimum of what we could do. Because I mean, obviously, we could play the tracks, we could play to the drum tracks and just do it with two of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it would, the whole atmosphere of it and everything would be a lot cooler if we had a real drummer, and it would be less to deal with technically, because if we're going to be playing the tracks and doing all that, we're really probably going to have somebody helping us out with the tech stuff so that we're not having to do so much by ourselves. And if we're going to go ahead and have a third person that's helping us like that, might as well just be a damn drummer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
yeah,
so for you, well, for y'all just need a drummer, not the bass.
yeah. We pretty much just need a drummer, and I mean, it would be cool to,
No.
you know, have somebody playing the keys, have background singers and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, if we could just get a drummer, so we
Okay.
could start playing some places. There's some other bands that we know around here, cool dudes, and there's definitely a lot of
Mm-hmm.
venues that are even oriented towards people that are just getting started. So pretty sure we could get some
Oh,
gigs set up. Just a matter of, you know, getting our heads together with somebody else and making it happen.
okay. Well, this is what the podcast for is to use your voice for that. So I'm curious, what is the standards, to give anybody can, listen to this episode. So if anybody that's interested, what is the standard that you have for the drummer?
I mean, not crazy high. It's basically just, we need somebody uh, that knows their instrument pretty well. That, primarily just somebody that can stay in time and keep a good beat and just, kind of keep that vibe going. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how good you are. You're about as good as the drummer you're playing with. Because if that beat gets
Mm,
off, then everybody else is off. It ain't
mm,
gonna work out if somebody's skipping beats and doing this and that. So pretty much just need somebody that can keep a good beat, and they have their own set. They know how to tune it. They can get back and forth. And I mean, besides that, just be a pretty chill person. Somebody we can stand to be around. We're not real picky. Just as long as it's somebody that can play and they're not crazy as hell. You know.
and they have to be local
Yeah,
as
I
well,
mean,
correct?
somebody that's fairly, close. We're not trying to make anybody drive an hour or two or three times a week,
Mm,
because in the long run, that's just not going to work. If it was just like, you know, hey, we're just gonna do this one show, and we need you to just practice with us a few times just to play this one show, like that probably wouldn't be a big deal. But if we're wanting to
mm.
make this consistent, it's gonna have to be somebody that's fairly close.
Okay. And you also mentioned somebody that played the keyboard and background singer.
Yeah, that would always be cool because we are gonna have keyboard stuff on several of the songs. I'm gonna be playing all that, but obviously, kind of hard to be playing the bass, singing, and playing keyboards all at the same time. Uh, Definitely for certain parts wouldn't be possible. So yeah, it would be cool to have
Mm,
somebody to do that at some point, but wouldn't have to be immediately. It could be down the road. We could get by without it if we had to. I'm definitely really into
okay.
a lot of bands that do, a lot of the organ stuff and, the backing vocals and all that. Especially like female backing vocals. That's always a nice touch.
Hmm. And I'm curious as well, what how it comes down to like, creating the song. Is it both of y'all, in the booth writing it or, tell us how, that comes.
Yeah, I try not to put myself in a box too much when it comes to writing songs. I feel like a lot of times people kind of have like a go-to method. I just kind of go with whatever's working. There's definitely been songs that I wrote pretty much all by myself, and he just added a couple little different things on guitar. And then there's been songs where it was the opposite. He brought it forward, and I just kind of added a bass line and just kind of added my own little nuances to the vocal lines. Uh, but then we've also collaborated and kind of put equal effort into different songs. Just the two songs that we have released, just for example, the King's Sorrow, all the instrumental stuff for that I actually wrote many years ago. I wrote that song when I was like 15, actually. But I
Mm,
rewrote the lyrics more recently, like maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I rewrote the lyrics because I found that I'm a lot better with words now, and I wasn't really happy with the verses, so I rewrote the verses. I kept the chorus because I did like the chorus. I thought it worked. Um, that was a fairly easy one to do because all the instrumental stuff was already there. he did write the guitar solo for it. Um, but besides that, it was pretty much my song. The second song, "Going Crazy," is a song that I wrote uh, for my wife about a year and a half ago, and I actually wrote the whole song, even the guitar solo. And actually, the recording that you hear, like when you listen to it on Spotify or whatever, it's actually both of us
Hmm.
playing. So it's like a multi-tracked guitar solo. So we're actually both playing that one.
Wait, you and your wife, or you and your bandmate?
Now me and my bandmate. Now my
Okay.
my wife can play triangle, man. Love her to death,
Okay.
but
Okay. But shout out to your wife to inspire a good song.
yeah,
Um.
yeah, that was something really cool. Kind of has a funny story behind it too. Because I was
Oh wow.
well, I was sitting around and I was playing on an acoustic that my grandfather had
Hmm.
given me. It's an old Ovation acoustic, kind of some vintage stuff. And I was just kind of ripping, and I started getting that itch, and I felt like, oh, I think there's a song here, but I'm not sure what I want the subject to be, what I want it to be about. I kind of turned over to my wife and I said, hey, give me a subject, give me something to sing about here. What should I be writing a song about? And she kind of looked over at me and
Mm.
she said, well, why don't you just write a song about how you're so damn crazy? And I was like, okay, hey, if that's what you're gonna ask for, that's what I'll give you, baby. So yeah, I wrote a song about how she makes me so damn crazy, and it actually
Mm.
I kind of liked it and I vibed with it. And then when I brought it to my bandmate, he was like, damn, that's a pretty legit song. So that was how that came about. And
Okay.
in that case, actually, it was in the case of both of those songs. Uh, it was instrumentals first, and then I came up with the vocal melodies, and then I kind of put words, put lyrics into those vocal melodies. But there have been other songs where it was the opposite, where I came up with a particular line, something that I thought was catchy, and I ran with it, and I just have like a whole notepad just full of lyrics but no music, and I did it the opposite way.
Mm.
So I try to just kind of embrace the uh, the inspiration, and just when I get in the mood, I just go with it, and it doesn't really matter if it's lyrics first or music first, vice versa. As long as it's working, just pretty much go with it.
Okay. And I'm curious, how do you challenge yourself?
Hmm, it's a good question. I think that ultimately it just comes down to you got to kind of hold yourself accountable and make sure that you put in the practice and put in the work, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people who love music. There's a lot of people that can play music pretty well, and they can they can copy other people, and they can do covers of this. They can make themselves sound just like this person, or they can sing like this person, or whatever. But you got to really put the work in to find your sound and your voice and what makes
Hmm.
you unique. And I used to be a truck driver, and one of the things that I would do is, when I was sitting there at a customer and I'm waiting, sitting around doing nothing, sometimes for hours, I would practice. I'd be singing, I'd be making notes, I'd be putting in the work, and I'd make sure
Hmm.
that I didn't just waste all my time just sitting there scrolling through whatever, looking at junk. I'll putting the work in and finding, the things that I can do well and really leaning into them, finding the things that I can't do as well, trying to figure out, well, how can I make this better? What is it that's missing? Watching a lot of like vocal coaches. There's this guy on YouTube. He's a really great vocal coach named Kim Tamplin. He does a lot of great videos about how to, unleash the different parts of your voice. And, I'd be watching those videos, practicing, doing the vocal exercises. When I'm listening to other artists that I like, I'd be reading the lyrics, kind of figuring out,
Mm-hmm.
what's their structure? How are they putting their songs together? Kind of figuring out, you know, what it is that makes these people great. Because, it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something that comes naturally, but at the same time, it does take work. And there is, kind of a method to the madness. And, once you kind of see all of it just right there in front of you, like
Mm-hmm.
pieces in a puzzle, and you can start kind of figuring out how to put it together yourself. So that's what I've done to try to challenge myself, is just to be uh, as uniquely me as I can doing this, and to do my best always.
Okay. Well, listen to your music. Uh, I enjoy it a lot, and I partner with Jet Production, and they make short action.
Oh, okay.
So they collaborate with artists, to use their music as soundtracks, and even willing to help the artist create a music video too.
All right.
So if you're interested, you connect with them.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, we're right now we're actually working on a video now. It'll be our first one, but it definitely will be wanting to make many more. So we're always, willing to collaborate with people on that potentially. But we're actually working on a video for Going Crazy right now. So we've been doing some filming with green screens and kind of
Mm,
experiment with that whole thing. We got a few ladies that are going to be doing some background dance and stuff in it. We're kind of going for like a kind of a futuristic sci-fi cyberpunk kind of thing, and we haven't started
okay.
the editing process yet. My guy that's
Mm,
doing all that stuff, he isn't really available quite yet. Hopefully sometime this weekend or next weekend we can kind of get him all that footage and he can start putting it together. So we're pretty excited about that. We're planning on
okay.
putting that out uh, sometime in sometime in August, probably mid to late August, and that'll give us something cool to kind of push and promote for a few weeks, and then we're gonna actually release another song too. We've got a new single that we're gonna release in September, so we're excited about that too.
Shout out to that. And I'm curious, could you use a animator as well?
An animator?
Mm,
Yeah, I mean we could definitely always use an animator. That would be a cool thing to add kind of a different atmosphere to things. Kind of up for anything, really.
oh, okay. And okay. And for the animator part, will you just need like logos, or will you dive into animated music videos?
They would probably be more for like videos and stuff. But that
Okay.
would be something we would have to kind of discuss with whoever it is. But yeah, mostly videos probably. Um, we already have a logo, so that's taken care of.
Okay.
But there would
No, I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Um,
I just want to make sure the animator that I have definitely can do that.
okay, yeah, that's
Uh,
cool.
I'll get you in contact, and I'll leave that discussion between you.
All right, yeah, I appreciate that, man. That's cool. But we're always trying to come up with ideas for like uh, album cover stuff. Um, these last two singles that we did, my guitar player's wife actually did the artwork for those. So that's been a cool collaboration. She actually went to school for graphic design, so I guess we kind of
Oh
lucked
wow.
out with that. So I know she'll be doing a lot of that stuff. But we're always open to talking to people and kind of seeing what happens, see what ideas that people got. Definitely not a closed-minded group of people. We want to branch out to folks and collaborate and just kind of have a community around this whole thing.
Hmm. And I'm curious as well. what does, collaboration look like, for y'all? Will y'all stick to like similar artists around your field or
Uh, like as far as if we were collaborating with other musicians, it would probably primarily be similar genres, but it would depend. If we were really vibing with somebody and they played a different kind of music and they wanted to work with us, then I don't think we would turn them down. Uh, but yeah, if it's other musicians, it would probably primarily be something similar. But when it comes to people who make visual art or they dance and things like that. I mean, it's kind of all over the place and whatever works.
no? Okay. And what other talents could you use?
Uh, definitely, we're always looking for anything that just adds some pop and some pizzazz to things. Um, it would be cool if we at some point had somebody that could kind of handle the social media stuff at some point. I don't know what all goes into that and how that would look, but I know from my standpoint, I've been running all the social media stuff since we started it, and sometimes it's kind of a lot, man, because it's like I'm trying to work full time
Yeah.
and I'm trying to keep this TikTok page going. We're trying to branch into other stuff like Instagram and all that, and then on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, I'm trying to practice, record stuff, and we're trying to learn a little bit about the mixing and the mastering, and that's like a whole nother,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother road. We've been working with a guy in England that's doing all of our mixing and mastering. It would be cool to
Mm-hmm.
to know how to do all that stuff at some point, or have somebody local that we can trust to do that kind of stuff. Uh,
Okay.
Ultimately, we ended up going with somebody that we found out about on YouTube that they were starting to kind of build a little bit of a reputation for themselves for doing good work. His name's Marvin T.
Promote people.
Yeah, he's out of London, England, at a place called Tide Studios. Yeah, he does good work.
Okay. And this person do marketing and promotion.
Nah, he doesn't do any kind of promotional stuff. Not really.
Oh, what he does?
I mean, he's got a little bit of online stuff, but he's not like super crazy
Okay.
promoting himself. He's a little bit of a sleeper. It's like if you try to Google him, you
He
might
getting
not
his.
find so much. But there's some people on YouTube talking about him. And then of course we found him ultimately on Fiverr. I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got an account on there, so that's how we reached out to him.
Okay. So what is this service? Like he take care of some of your websites or something?
Nah, he does all the mixing and mastering for the songs. Yeah,
Oh, oh shit.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Because
And which one did he do for y'all?
he did both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
and definitely.
I will say. Oh, my bad.
Nah,
Go.
you go ahead, man.
Oh, I was gonna say, listen to both your songs, and just hearing this is your first is well put together. I have no complaint.
Mm.
I ain't hear nothing wrong with the audio. Uh, shit, if I ain't know any better, I would have thought this was, experienced. Y'all was well experienced. Y'all was well put together. Y'all got, everything going for y'all. Uh,
Yeah, believe it or not,
so
that's just two
really
guys in
impressed.
a garage.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wait, what you say?
I said, believe it or not, what you're hearing on those songs is just two dudes in a garage. Everything was recorded in the garage.
Shit, hey, wherever the formula, working, keep at it.
Yeah,
Cause I think y'all got something. I'm like I said, I'm entertained. I can see this being used for a lot of soundtracks for like for like fight
yeah,
scenes, some fight
yeah.
scenes.
Something high energy,
Uh,
car chase or something. Yeah,
Hmm.
it could
Yeah.
work.
Uh, and speaking of, uh, how y'all came up with your name? Lesson Mac.
So essentially, like I said, we had kind of been just running through, different names and stuff, uh, putting
Mm,
different words together and things, and kind of exploring different themes. We definitely are both into like old sci-fi and horror movies, and I like to read a lot of books and things. A lot of old, Edgar Allan Poe and H.P. Lovecraft and stuff like that. So I'm always making notes when I'm
mm,
reading stuff and different things, and started exploring a little bit of kind of like uh, old European folklore and like Norse stuff, the mythology, Norse mythology, Greek mythology, different American folklore stuff, and just kind of hunting down all these little terms and cool words that we found. And one of the things that we kind of stumbled upon was just like the idea of just like wizards and like
mm,
magicians and stuff, and started doing a little bit of digging into that and seeing that it's kind of a lot deeper than like the surface level of what most people view it as. I think because people see stuff like that kind of like in a superficial light, because we live in this modern age where everything's scientific and
mm,
it's explainable. But back in the day, everything was magical to people. It didn't really matter what it is. Uh, people experienced it through this lens of it being magical and unexplainable. And people had these different forms of magic that they, you know, thought that they were doing, they thought that other people were doing. And uh, there's kind of like two sort of categories. You had like your lesser magic and your greater magic. The greater
mm,
magic is more like people doing spells and rituals and the different things, making these love potions and kind of all the more
mm,
stereotypical spinning the cauldron type stuff. But then you had
mm,
lesser magic, which was more everyday experiences, more kind of bending things to your own will, making things happen the way you want to happen. And of course, now we just call that influence or charisma or
mm.
whatever. But back in the day, people thought it was magic. If you were doing really well for yourself and you could talk people into things, they thought it was magical. And one of the things that I read somewhere online, I don't even remember, it said that they used to think that music was magic. And actually, if you look at it like music, magic, it's a very similar word because they actually come from like the same root word originally. And musician
Mm,
and magician, they literally
mm,
thought that if somebody was playing some instrument, they thought it was magic, and that the person doing it was a magician. So I was like, oh, this is like a cool
mm,
concept. It's like magical music, or music is magic. And
mm.
to us, music always has been kind of magical in a way. And still is. It's something that you can't really quite put your finger on why it's so awesome, but it is. And
So here's my question on the part of the music being magic. Do you think the people that believe it was to be magical on the fact that it make them feel something?
uh, I don't necessarily know if I believe that there's actually any real magic going on, but it seems magical. And
Mm,
I just want to share that, and I want people to feel that magic, in their lives and experience that joy, regardless of if there's anything going on there or not. I mean, at the end of the day, at least what we understand about it, seems that music is really nothing more than uh, mathematical equations done in different random orders. But it doesn't really feel like that, does it? It feels like it's something special.
Okay. Okay, I can say that. And, when it comes to, you was talking about you working on an album, correct?
Yes, we are working on an album. Um, Kind of difficult, as an independent artist, especially if it's just a two piece. Just financially, it's a struggle because we tried mixing and mastering this stuff ourselves for several months, doing like draft after draft, like it just wasn't ever turning out like how we wanted. It's hard to get songs to sound big and loud. That's the main thing. Like you get it loud, but it sounds fuzzy, and you get it to sound nice and clear, but it's not loud enough. And something those guys are doing makes it sound good. I don't understand, the process, the equipment they got, but we
Imagine.
yeah. But we ultimately decided we had to start getting somebody to mix and master our stuff, and
No.
between those two things and doing some revisions here and there, and it usually ends up costing, a couple $100 to get a song finished.
Hmm.
Not to mention that we gotta, pay a session drummer to, record the song with us. So we just don't really have the funds to put out an entire album all at once. That's why we've been doing singles. Uh, so we actually have all together between the two of us, we probably got about 50 songs that we've written.
Hmm.
Um, we got 12 that are going to be on this first album, and they're all more or less ready. We're going to do like a few little things here and there, get somebody to play the drums on them, obviously, because of as of right now um, the versions that we have, demo versions, I guess you could call them, they just got like a drum machine on them. So we'll have
Hmm.
somebody do that, and uh, kind of just planning on putting out a song like every 6 weeks, every 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. Just because that's kind of more financially feasible. But we definitely got enough material for two full albums, plus several others that we can start tweaking and honing in. But we're excited about actually putting out a whole album at some point. Maybe
Hmm.
maybe by like middle to late next year, we can actually have everything released. Possibly even do some physical media, which would be nice. Sometimes I kind of miss those days. You can actually open up a damn cassette or a CD or whatever and pop it in, kind of thumb your way through the book. Kind of like that stuff. Like I collect vinyls and all that. I got a couple hundred vinyls in my collection. I think a lot of other people
Hmm.
like that too. Just it's not like how it used to be, but
Yeah, music has changed.
yeah, I think it's mostly for the
Yeah.
worse. I mean, it's definitely easier to put stuff out there, but it
Mhm.
seems like you're climbing uphill once you're there because everybody else is putting stuff out there too. I've seen things that
Mhm.
said that there's like 60,000 songs a day being put on Spotify or something. I mean, that's like
Mhm.
crazy, man. How are you supposed to get noticed? It's like, somebody has to like fish their way through all this other stuff just to see your stuff. Kind of wild. It's like anything goes right now.
Hey, I think we do bring up a good point. Um, there is a lot of, artists, uh, independent artists, I should say, that's, trying to get in the game. They throwing out their best creativity out there, hopefully. Uh, and, hoping, to get some attention. So I'm curious, what makes y'all stand out,
Uh,
in your opinion?
in my opinion, most of it is just the songwriting. and just the quality of what we're putting forth. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that can play a mean guitar, uh, but they don't necessarily write songs that fit together well, or have good structure. And our main focus has been structuring songs so that they flow and they make sense, and there's an easy transition from one part to the next, and things aren't clunky. uh, because I hear a lot of people that they sound really good, they definitely got talent, but things just aren't really like flowing. And I'm not trying to trash anybody, because if you're out there doing your thing, like, you got my support.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we're all doing the same thing. So definitely not ever going to trash anybody, especially by name, because I don't believe in that negativity, man. I'm trying to keep things positive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we write good songs, man. I think they're really good. I think we got probably another 20 at least that are just as good as the two we put out, and then you know a bunch more that could possibly be that good. If we just get the time to tweak them a little bit more, because some of them are pretty bare bones. Some of the ones we got, they're
Mm-hmm.
nothing but vocals and a bass line, and we gotta just add the other parts later. Because one thing that we focused on is not trying to do too much at once. Because a lot of people, they'll be writing a song and they put it together real quick. They put it together in like 10 or 15 minutes, and they're like, okay, it's done. Move on to the next thing. And then you just have a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of songs that sound kind of unfinished. And we didn't want to do that.
So,
So, if we write a song, we'll go ahead and record it, just a basic demo version, just to have it down so we don't forget it and everything's in there. But then, we decide, okay, what song are we going to release next? And then we just perfect that song. We just focus on it for weeks and weeks, make sure everything's perfect. And if there's one little thing in there we don't like, we'll just redo it real quick, because we got that luxury, thankfully. And
no.
so yeah, it's attention to detail, attention to the songwriting, and also too, not to try to toot my own horn too bad, but I like bands that have singers that actually sing and use the
Mm-hmm.
the full range of their voice. Um, I'm not so much into the super screamy type stuff. I mean, a little bit. I get into a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
that. We'll be releasing some songs later this year that are a little more aggressive, but even those are still very melodic, and it's not like screaming the whole time. So definitely, you
Mm-hmm.
know, if somebody's looking for a band that's heavy but still has like a good melody, and they're actually looking for someone who can actually sing pretty well, sing in key, and not just growl the whole time, then we're definitely somebody that they might be interested in, because I've worked really hard on my voice, and I've worked really hard on like layering the backing vocals and everything, because both the songs we put out so far, they had like 8 to 10 vocal tracks in total. So definitely, focusing on making things sound big and wide, and kind of bringing in that extra stuff as a chorus, just those little details. I feel like that's kind of what separates us. And plus, we really enjoy doing what we're doing. We're mostly doing it for ourselves. We're trying to write music that we want to hear. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to do what I feel is missing. Sometimes I'll be listening to music and I'm like, man, I kind of like this, but like, if I did it, maybe I'll do it just a little bit more like this or that. And I'm trying to kind of, fill a little spot that I see. And I feel like maybe that spot might be just for me, uh, just like almost like it's custom made and it's just sitting there waiting on it to jump right in there. Because, we got a
Mm,
lot of different influences, and I feel like most people do, but we've tried to blend them in a way where it's almost hard to distinguish one thing from another, because like we got a lot of like punk rock influences. Like
mm,
we like Green Day and the Offspring and Ramones and Misfits, Fall Out Boy, stuff like that. But then at the same time,
mm,
we like thrash metal. So, we like Metallica and Megadeth, Anthrax and Slayer. But, we also like, some of the doom metal bands. Obviously you got Black Sabbath is like, the OGs of that. Then you got bands like,
mm,
Dope Lord and Pentagram and, Sleep Wolf and stuff like that. You got like the hair band stuff, like Dokken and Motley Crue and Van Halen and Kiss and all that. Kind of mix it
mm,
all together, full circle, and have different elements, because like the first song, it's got kind of a thrashy riff to it, but then I decided to slow it down because it was originally much faster. So it's kind of a thrashy riff, but played a little bit slower, kind of brings it almost down into doom territory a little bit. But then like, the chorus is like super upbeat sounding, even though the song itself um, is sort of a cautionary tale, and has like a little bit of a sadness to it. We still found a way to kind of make it sound happy. So, we like to
mm.
mix things up and not just stay in one avenue because unfortunately I feel like most bands, they're like, oh, I'm really into death metal, so we're just gonna play nothing but super brutal death metal. Or they're like, oh, well,
Mm.
we're into jam bands, so they're just gonna play nothing but you know Allman Brothers and Grateful Dead stuff, which that's stuff I really love too. That's
Mm.
influenced my music a lot. But I don't want to stay in just one avenue. I want to do it all.
Okay. So what is the, next level for you?
I definitely think that building up our following on social media is going to be something that's going to help us a lot. And we've been working hard at that, but it's a long, hard road, especially now. Uh, Part of me is kind of kicking myself a little bit because I wish I got started on it sooner, because I feel like now everybody's online doing something. And if
Yeah.
I'd started putting stuff out, uh, 10 years ago or whatever, I would have had a little bit better of a chance getting some more attention. But not going to dwell on that too bad. We're just going to keep putting
Oh,
stuff out, keep growing that following, and
okay.
definitely, if we can find somebody to play drums with us, that'd be amazing.
Mm.
And if we could start playing some live shows, I think it's going to be game over, man. Because I think we just got good music, and if we start playing it in
Mm.
front of people, like I think it's going to start clicking, man.
I agree with you. And, to back you up when you were saying, you wish you had started earlier. Well, we see a lot of fuckery with the industry since then. Uh, and right now, and I agree with you. I don't think you're the only one that also feel like, creativity is lacking in the entertainment when it comes to the movies, music,
Yeah.
etc. So, if you as skillful as you say, this should be like taking candy from a baby.
Well, it might not
So,
be quite that easy, but
uh,
I
but
definitely think
I'm just pointing out
yeah,
on the simple fact that if you are right, we just need to see, your work.
yeah,
Just be able to see that.
and that's not
So I will
even
also recommend, mm, I will also recommend, also promote your music outside of, United States. Um,
yeah,
if it's hard to get seen here, you know, when it comes to like people that's outside of our country, they don't really, keep up with our tradition. However, when it comes to our entertainment, they just judge it all,
yeah.
based off.
Yeah, I
is it
definitely agree with
entertaining?
that. I actually have put a little bit of work into that. We've had both of our songs played on FM radio in Australia, so that was pretty
Oh
cool.
shit.
Um, we've also
Yeah,
been,
that's a hell of an achievement.
yeah, it was really
Congratulations.
cool. We've also been played on some online stations. One's out of Great Britain, and then the other one was here in the United States. Well, there was two or three here in the United States. So yeah, I mean it's kind of primarily here in the U.S., but we have been reaching out to people in.
I'll also say this too. Wherever you are getting attention at outside of the United States, uh, there's a couple ways you could take advantage of that. Collaborating with like local people there
Yeah,
is one minute they will hear your music, then the next minute they're like, oh, he's showing love to our local, talent here.
yeah,
Uh, Also, since you are an artist, you do have, well, a couple of abilities as Mag said, when it comes to being art. There's one, you know, you got opportunities to people using your stuff as soundtrack. So, I will also recommend collaborating with like, other people that's coming up from the ground, especially when it comes to like entertainment, people that making their own games. You know, your music is perfect for like, type like Dungeon and Dragon, you know what I'm saying? Or like God of War. Uh, so, you know, you could take advantage of like collaborating with people that's coming up with their own films, their own, games or whatever, and have your music being played as a soundtrack.
yeah. That's definitely something that I've had a couple other people mention to me, and that would be really cool. To have somebody use a song, in a video game or in some kind of a like YouTube video or something. We've had several people that have used our songs for like different dance videos and such online, so that was always cool. And that's also just a good way to just meet other people and just kind of branch it out into another avenue, like you were saying. I know this third single that we're doing, the drummer is actually from Argentina, and that's
Okay.
going to be cool to kind of reach out to that Latin America audience and kind of see how they
Hmm.
respond to it. Um, I feel like a lot of people down that way are really into rock and metal music. I feel like it's still pretty popular down there, so that's definitely a group of people that we'd like to vibe with and see you know how they dig it.
Okay. And I also recommend checking out some of my previous podcasts. I had some metal. Uh, I'm not sure you care for like folk music.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty much into a little bit of
Okay.
everything.
Um, I have a couple artists that you might find talented to work with. Uh, Also, shout out to From Here On Out. They're actually two brothers in law, so two-man band as well.
Oh, okay.
Uh, they make rock music. Uh, so you might find them interesting. Uh, um,
Okay, that's cool. What
but
are they
coming to
called?
From Here On Out,
Okay.
I can send you their links and just to make sure that you was also interested in the animator and that production.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that I'd like to check out.
Okay, I
100%.
send you their link. I'll send you their links after this.
Okay.
Oh, uh, what? Oh, so coming at the end of the podcast, this one will be a free trial to give everybody opportunity, to share their story and their work. But the next one will be a small fee. However, I would do a ranking out your catalog, so I encourage you to make music, and every time you come back on here, we will give you a platform to promote and talk.
Okay, cool.
Um, but coming at the end, you can. Well, before we do that, do you like this to be a video on YouTube or audio only?
Sorry, what was that?
So you have the option to have this used as a video on YouTube, just like how the way it is right now. Um, this could be a video on YouTube, or you just like it to be an audio only.
It doesn't really matter. Either way, we could do both. It's cool.
All right, I would do both for you. You can shout out all your platforms, shout out anybody that you want to put on, and then drop a song out of your catalog that the audience to.
Okay, so basically, if you just look up Lesser Magic, you can find us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as well. Right now, our TikTok is the biggest and most popular one. That's the one we started with. It's also the most user friendly, but definitely trying to build up, that Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So go check us out there. And definitely check out our two singles, "The King's Sorrow" and "Going Crazy." We like them. We think you might like them too. So definitely check that out.
No problem. And do you want to put anybody on?
Talking about
Either
like
you want to shout.
just giving a shout out to somebody, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely want to give a shout out to some of our friends in Atlanta. They got a band called Grudge Step, and they're sick. They're really fucking good. We used to actually play with their drummer a little bit back in the day, and very talented group of people. They got a female vocalist who she's got a really great sound, really good range, and their stuff is you kind of have to just hear it to believe it. It's really good quality. They're great live. So if you ever catch them somewhere, go ahead and take that opportunity to go listen to them because it's fucking sick.
Okay. Oh, and I also welcome them to use this platform. They want to promote their stuff as well.
Oh yeah.
It was great to have you on this podcast. I look forward to ever come back on here again.
Oh yeah, man. It was fun.
Uh,
I appreciate you having me on.
no problem. This EP will be out within 3 weeks for YouTube. For Spotify, I got you in a rotation of other artists who come first.
Okay.
So it's gonna take some time for that, but your YouTube will be out within 3 weeks.
Okay. Sounds cool, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right. Have a good
Yeah,
one.
you too, man. Take it easy.
All right. You too.